In the film American Graffiti, engines roar, radios crackle, the band plays on, society ripples on the brink of change, but not just yet. Why don't we just preserve this fateful 1962 night in California in amber forever? And in turn, maybe we can catapult one of the most influential filmmakers to the forefront of a new future of cinematic possibilities, even if he himself might still be preoccupied by a world from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Made on a budget in the mid-700,000s and grossing well over $200 million, earning awards, nominations, and acclaim, the film is one of the most profitable of all time, and gave a serious jumpstart to the auteur's fledgling production company, Lucasfilm, with a nearly wall-to-wall soundtrack composed of period pop hits and screeching tires alike. The film is at once a musical, white-bread, coming-of-age dramedy, and a gasoline-in-its-veins car flick. Does it still hold up? How does our view in 2023 of Lucas in 1973, looking back in 1962, hold up once the hangover of American Graffiti wears off and the light of dawn breaks? Welcome to Kael Your Idols, a new Hollywood podcast with your hosts Elena Gibson and Sam Ludwig.
Do you feel hungover from it?
No, I feel like it's a movie that does not hold sway too much over me very much longer after it stops.
It's weird because I have so many things to say about it, and
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to talk about it a lot.
Yes.
But I was bored by it.
Yeah, I find it pretty bad.
That was a good intro, but
Thank you.
it's hard not to comment on that. Yeah, wasn't quite my thing, but there's lots of things I like about it. I'm excited to get into all of it. But yeah, first reaction, do we just do what we thought of it?
You do whatever you want.
Sure.
What your opinion is?
Yeah. Well, first, who you're hearing speaking right now is our good friend Levi Butner, who is a filmographer and editor for the science YouTuber Physics Girl, and is also a filmmaker, finishing up his first film right now, The Goat Man. He made it alongside his sister Hope Butner, and written, directed, produced, and their brother Clay was also involved in production.
Yes.
Do you want to say anything else about your things?
No, thanks. That's awesome. That's it. Basically, I think you guys just did a better intro than I could have thought of. But yeah,
Well, sometimes we can see other people better than we can see ourselves.
Well, give us your Goat Man pitch.
Yeah.
What's the vibe?
Yeah, The Goat Man. My siblings and I, a couple of years ago, went out and filmed our first movie. It's an indie horror flick inspired by the urban legend, The Goat Man. And it's just a spooky, somewhat Bigfoot-like urban legend out in the ether of the internet that gained popularity, I think, in the last 10 years.
It's like a creepypasta thing?
Yes, that's
Nice.
Exactly the first time we read about it, and then loved it for 10 years. Finally wrote a script for it in 2019 and then set out to film it. Shot it in 2021 February. It's now February of 2023.
Yes.
And coming to a close in production. But very inspired by, or very reminiscent of The Thing and The Hateful Eight in terms of its structure and style. We want it to be fun and entertaining, but it does take itself seriously. We don't really cop out and wink at the camera and make it a comedy. It's very what do you call that?
Like classic
Sincere.
horror, like you want
Sincere.
it.
It's very sincere in how it turned out, and it's our ultimate dream. It took
It's
a while.
amazing, man.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
so inspiring.
It's
It's
awesome.
really cool. I'm
Thanks.
so excited to see this movie. Elena has seen some of it.
And it's awesome.
Seen a cut,
and I
right?
can't
Yeah.
wait to see it in its final form.
I'm so excited. Thanks, guys.
So, Goat Man meant to be fun and light and entertaining. How'd you feel about the entertainment value in American Graffiti?
It was more boring.
More boring than your film.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well,
Absolutely.
The genre is not my thing.
Yeah.
But you guys actually, I think, like this type of genre and other things more than I do.
That's
where
interesting.
Nostalgia, period piece, hangout films are just not
Yeah.
my thing.
Okay, well,
And that's
No, you're right.
What this was.
Absolutely. Those are the things about it that I liked. Yes.
But, okay.
Those aren't the things that I didn't like, I don't think.
So Sam has an issue, though. I feel like you typically do have an issue with the nostalgia thing. You don't like how Stranger Things is just like a nostalgia thing. But you
Well,
do
this is
love,
interesting, yeah.
you love Dazed and Confused, which we should talk about the connection.
It's
between
obviously
Dazed and
in
I love Dazed and
conversation
Confused
with
too. So that's one where I differ from not liking that genre. There's always a break where, like, if I don't like a genre or a type of thing, there's always like one thing that did it right and I really liked that counters my argument. And Dazed and Confused is one of them where, like, that one really worked for me.
Okay, so let's just really quick and lay out what's happening in this movie. And Dazed and Confused is a good starting point. A lot of people might have seen Dazed and Confused. It's a sort of like end of the school year, Altman-esque, multi-character. Dazed and Confused is this. It's sort of like everybody in town being discussed. This is a similar kind of setup where it's a bunch of characters. They're leaving school, thinking about like the next step. Some are moving on to college, some aren't. It's California. It's 1962. And I think I'm going to plant my flag right here. The problem with this is it's the wrong number of characters. Like Dazed and Confused has just a little taste of like a bunch of different storylines and just gives you just like a little nibble of like a little snatch of life or a little exchange, some human moments. All of the storylines in American Graffiti just get worn so thin. Like the Stephen Laurie thing, the Ron Howard and was it Cindy Williams? I mean, that's what the hell happens in that storyline the whole movie. They're literally just thinking about, like, you barely even see them for half of the time.
Yeah.
Like, what are your favorite storylines from this movie? Let's go through them, okay?
Yeah, right.
So, like, so you got Ron Howard and Cindy Williams.
Or as he's known at the time, Ronnie Howard.
He's credited as Ronnie Howard because
funny.
Yeah, he's coming off of being like this child actor, right? Opie in Andy Griffith's show, and the little kid in Music Man. The Gary, Indiana. Like, he's this little boy, and he still looks like a little boy. Ron Howard in a certain way, and so it's him and Cindy Williams, both of whom would then, by the way, go on to star in Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days, two 50s throwbacks, 70s television shows that Gary Marshall produced. Totally unrelated to American Graffiti, but clearly, like, the success of American Graffiti is what allowed those projects to go forward, and like why we have Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley and Mork and Mindy. Do you guys have any idea what I'm talking about right now?
Not really. Like, I've heard of Happy Days.
Okay, fine.
And I've heard of Laverne and Shirley, but like I wouldn't know that those are 50s nostalgia shows.
You don't know
set in
that
the
Happy
70s.
Days is Happy Days is it basically is like you're watching American Graffiti.
Oh, funny. Really?
No, yeah, he is the main character. Yeah, this is so great that I'm having to explain Happy Days on our podcast about American Graffiti. Just my two
I think it's crazy that you know so much about Happy Days, given that, like,
it sucks. Given that it's a piece of crap.
Well, just that seems like one of those shows that nobody our age would know of, and it's just.
I'm 5 years older than y'all.
That's true.
I had the Nick at Night. Did you guys have this?
Nick at Night? Yeah.
You had the Nick at Night.
Yeah.
What were you watching?
I don't think I was allowed to watch Nick at Night.
I'm sorry, you weren't allowed to watch Nick at Night?
It's Nick at Night.
Like, you're just not allowed to have, like, evening television on? Like, just once the moon
Well, maybe that was out.
ascends?
But I feel like it was a little more adult than Nickelodeon.
Were you like not allowed to watch, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And like that, like,
I wasn't
lineup?
allowed to watch Rugrats because the main character,
Right.
because of
I wasn't allowed
Angelica,
I wasn't allowed
mean.
to watch Rugrats either.
Because
they
Angelica?
would pronounce things wrong and then we would pronounce them wrong. My mom was like, stop. She wouldn't let us read Junie B. Jones. She was like, stop talking like that. Like, she just wouldn't let us see anything she didn't want us to repeat.
Wow, anti-baby talk.
Basically. Yeah. Yeah. She liked things that were articulate. She liked, like, Charlie Brown. She wanted us to, like, express ourselves how she thought she did as a kid. Yeah, it was funny.
Oh my gosh, that reminds
Charlie
me.
Brown has the teachers all sounding like nonsense.
Yeah, but that's direct nonsense. They didn't, like, directly, all the kids were little adults.
Yeah,
and
you're
she was,
right.
like, literally a therapist. And,
I do love that. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh, that's like one time I used to babysit these quadruplets, and one time I said, "Oh, I'm too poop to pop." And the kids, like, they just loved it. And they would just, like, ran around saying, like, too poop to poop all the time. And then the mom came home and she's like, what are my kids saying?
Yeah, I think we took that to an extreme if we watched Rugrats. And my mom just started turning it off and she was like, no more.
Okay, so you guys maybe had a little less TV than I did. Okay? And so I guess I gotta explain this. So there was this guy in the 70s named Gary Marshall who made a bunch of really bland, stupid television shows that are all in the same universe. And they're all set in the 50s, some of which involve Robin Williams being a man from outer space. Okay?
What movie is that?
It's called Mork and Mindy.
I want to watch that one.
You will be amazed at how much more annoyed by Robin Williams you can be than you even thought possible. Like, you will just, it will astound you that they could put this on network television as like an appealing, cutesy thing. It's
Funny.
It's something.
I don't know. You're telling me that I'm not going to like it, but you're selling me on it.
You fucking would like Mork and Mindy. You are so the kind of weirdo that would like Mork and Mindy, to be honest.
I've seen bits. I don't think I'd like it.
I don't think you would like it.
No, but I don't think I've seen a single frame of all the other shows.
You never seen Happy
talking
Days?
about.
You have no idea who the Fonz is.
No, I've never. I mean, I know who he is, but
Right.
I've seen images online. I've
Yeah.
seen the leather jacket. I've never seen a frame of it.
Seen the leather jacket. Like you went to the Smithsonian?
No, I've seen him in the jacket. Yeah.
So, okay, let's keep backing up here. So let's talk 50s nostalgia, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this is early 70s, 1973. The 60s have happened, people. Get with it, okay? I'm sorry, we're in a new era, right? But maybe sometimes you want to look back to a simpler time. Maybe sometimes you want to program the last acts of Woodstock to be sha-na-na. It seems like there was probably a lot of like young people who thought that the world was gross and grody and dirty and wanted to like look back to some kind of simpler time. I don't know. Is there, what the fuck do people like about the 50s and the early 60s?
I do like 50s music.
You like the music of the movie?
I do.
The soundtrack is good.
It's insane. The
It's
soundtrack, by the way.
Too much.
Oh, yeah. I feel like they must have played every single 50s song in
Yeah.
existence throughout the course of that
Yeah.
movie. Except for Elvis songs, because in order
Too
to
much.
get the
rights, yeah.
in order to get the rights, they had to offer a flat rate to all the people, and everybody agreed except for Elvis.
I was astounded at how low the budget was considering the soundtrack.
So you don't care about, or you're not very invested or interested in like 60s culture and how interesting it is?
Well, no,
I
you're
thought
right.
We were going to be opposite on that, where like part of my complaints about the nostalgia of the film is it's such an ode to a time I don't inherently care about or have a lot of attachment to. I thought you were going to be opposite of that.
No, this is interesting. I see your point there. The 50s really, like, it's interesting. So it's 1962 in the movie, right? But it's like 50s as hell.
Yeah.
Right? It's really not like Kennedy. They mention Kennedy, but it's like everybody's sock hopping and shit. They're not,
Kennedy died the
Next.
year after the film is set.
Right.
So it was even like supposed to be, this is the end of that time.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
No, I know, but but they're still stuck in this car culture, cruising up and down, the main strip. I don't know if this is a California thing, a particular thing, but yeah, it really feels like greasers, a guitar that is baby blue, the chrome of the microphone on your face and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it. George Lucas loves having a band in a movie. By the way.
Oh my god.
He loves just like having like a band play in the background of a
Totally.
thing.
Are there bands in Star Wars?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
There were straight shots that were from the cantina scene in Star Wars.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're jumping all around, but like this has all of the hallmarks. I mean, like the malt shop looks like a spaceship docking.
Oh
station.
yeah, totally.
And it's the hub of everybody
It's
meeting.
the hub of everybody meeting. All of the machinery is the same kind of like combination of gleaming but also dirty.
Like Milner's car.
Right,
How
exactly.
you can like see the metal exposed underneath.
Yes, or like the guitar too. It's like you could, like that.
What guitar? When was there a guitar?
There was a band with a song.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, all the shots of that. It's like really like lived in.
Which I think he keeps throughout his career.
Absolutely,
The dirtiness of all of it.
it's the hallmark of everything.
Yeah.
Everything post THX 1138, which is very sterile and Kubrickian, that kind of sci-fi.
I haven't
clean
seen
thing.
it, but it totally appears that way.
It's much more right. It's much more minimalist.
Got it.
That kind of, We put a lot on the table. Going through the storylines, there's
Oh yeah, which ones do you like? Which ones do you not like?
right. I think Steve and Laurie, which is Ron Howard and Cindy Williams, which are basically just like they're a popular couple. He's thinking about whether he wants to go to college back east. More on this later. She loves him, or she's stuck in town and wants him to stay.
Mm-hmm.
What the
Yeah.
fuck's going on there?
Pauline Kael has a lot of really great things to say about this movie. She's got this review in the New Yorker on October 29th, 1973. She compares American Graffiti to the movie The Paper Chase. But she says...
Also another boring movie.
Yeah, she's like, she says everything. But one of the things she says is the protagonists of The Paper Chase and American Graffiti don't know what they want. They're searching. The girls in both movies want nothing but men. I raise this point not to make a feminist issue of it, though that's implicit, but to make an aesthetic one. Mechanical people, including searching young men, are a blight on the movies, evidence that the filmmakers aren't thinking freshly, that they're resorting to the stockpile.
Yeah,
But the women are just only interested in men. That's
And guess
It's
what?
boring.
The male characters are whiny and boring.
Yeah.
Like, it's another hallmark of Lucas.
Mhm.
Like a young, whiny male protagonist.
Yeah. This is something I think is good to get into early that I wanted to hear
go
from
ahead.
you guys. What did you guys really think of the movie, the characters, and all of it? I don't feel like I've gotten what you guys thought of it yet, and I'm really interested in that.
What we thought of it.
But yeah, did you guys like
we
the
like
movie? Yeah, I like the characters.
Does
Did
it
you
seem
not?
like we liked it?
No, it doesn't, but I want to hear
But
you.
we
I
didn't
wanna hear you
explicitly
guys.
say it.
No,
Yeah,
you're right.
I want to hear you guys kind of say it. I'm interested in your opinions about it.
Yeah, like the character's super shallow. It's so uncomfortable watching. Like you're supposed to like Steve, I guess, but he's pressuring Lori for sex in a really uncomfortable way.
I don't think you're supposed to like him.
I think you are supposed to like him. And
no,
then-
I don't think so.
And then Pauline Kael makes this other point about the character Terry. He is just a total creep. He's going through like all of his stuff is so
And yet that's
dramatic
the best
and annoying.
storyline.
I don't think that's the best storyline.
Which one was Terry?
He's
Terry
the
and-
nerd.
Okay.
who
No,
gets
with
the car.
Candy Clark, who's great.
That's not well.
I
she's
think it was
great, but
I think it was my favorite storyline too.
Oh, that was not my favorite storyline.
You like Kurt?
No, well, Kurt was okay. I kind of
Kurt
like
had
Kurt.
stuff happen.
And
at least.
honestly,
Like,
I did kind of like Carol and Milner. Like, I was charmed by that a
I'm
little
so
bit.
sorry. I don't remember any of these characters' names.
Okay, so
Okay.
Kurt is Dreyfus.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Okay, that's Kurt. Got it.
Did I pronounce the name wrong?
Dreyfuss.
Dreyfus.
Richard
What's Ron Howard's name?
Steve.
Steve.
And his girlfriend's Lori. And they're the ones who like,
Yes, he's the one pressuring
he
her
said,
the whole time.
yeah, he's like, let's
He
see other
wants
people, and
something
then
to
she's
remember her
like,
by.
let's
Yeah,
break
yeah.
up, and then they get back together, and he pressures her for sex, and then she's like, that's fucked up, yeah.
No, it's like they have one thing happen, which is that he decides to stay.
He eventually decides
Like
to
the
stay.
end of the movie is
Presumably
the
for
one
her.
thing that occurs
Presumably
in the
for
story.
her.
Right. Well, or because they're teasing Kurt the whole time. Is like Kurt is the one who doesn't know if he wants to leave, but then
Yeah.
Steve is actually the one who's really because
I mean-
we're all deep down whatever.
I mean, like, it makes it more interesting to have
Yes.
him stay
Yes,
and
of
Kurt
course.
leave.
I get it.
But it doesn't really make sense from
No.
a character point of view, aside from
It's just some
Lori.
writing bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just a writing thing.
Yeah.
Like it's not a character thing. Like
Okay.
yeah.
But Carol and Milner, Carol is the young girl, and then Milner is like the car driving guy.
They were good.
Carol and Milner.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I liked their storyline. Oh, and then we've got
They were the best
Harrison
two
Ford.
actors together. Too. Like they were
Yeah.
they were two compelling
Yeah.
actors.
And then Terry is the nerd. And like Terry, he's just so unlikable, so annoying. And like the fact that we're supposed to care about this character, and the fact that at the very end when they do the like where are they now? What happened to these character type things? And they're like, he's missing in action or whatever, and you're supposed to feel very serious. That adds so much meaning to his life and makes him a more important character, knowing that he then went to Vietnam and is missing in action. Like that gives his character more gravity and like more seriousness in a way that's so eye-rolly when they don't even mention the female characters at all. And we can talk about that because of course everybody
So
like I'm sure lots of people talk about that, the female characters missing from the where are they now type summaries at the end of the movie. But
Which shouldn't have been there to begin with. I thought that was absurd.
No, it's-
That popped up in this movie.
It's terrible. I mean, obviously,
Let's just talk about it right now.
Let's
Yeah,
talk about it.
okay.
The ending is one of the most famous aspects of this movie. First of all, the missing in action of Vietnam might, hit a little differently in 1973. Vietnam's still going on.
no,
You know,
totally.
I'm not.
Like,
I don't
that's
know,
all
but it
fine,
still feels
but-
cheap as hell.
But saying
Like,
that
it's
gives
like-
this importance to that character who is just like I don't know.
No.
I did not like it.
and it's just done so bluntly and he fucking died. He got his head cut off, and that guy's hand was mangled
dumb.
in the thing. Yeah.
Apparently, when they first showed this ending to like the people in the production company, they were like, "This is bad. Can you take that
Oh,
out?"
really?
And he was
Yeah.
like, "No." He like doubled down and insisted on it.
It's
staying in.
poorly done.
Yeah. It was below a feeling of this doesn't hold up. I didn't even get that because there was no feeling that this even held up at the time.
No,
It was
right.
like, no, this is just objectively a poor decision. I did not like that ending.
And it just is insane that the girls aren't in it at all. Like, at least put Lori
Oh,
in it.
they-
Lori was a character from the very beginning. She was introduced at the same time as the male
Girls were all
characters.
more
I think.
interesting than the guys.
Yeah.
Katie Clark got nominated for an Oscar.
Did she?
Yeah, let's see. Pauline Kael says this thing, using women, and not only women, as plot functions may be a clue to the shallowness of many movies, even of much better movies. American Graffiti, for example. The audience at American Graffiti appears to be ecstatically happy, condescending towards its own past. How cute we were at 17, how funny, how lost. But for women, at the end of the picture, is a cold slap. Set in 1962, American Graffiti compresses into one night the events from high school graduation to the opening of college in the fall. At the close, it jumps to the present and wraps up the fates of the 4 principal male characters, as if lives were set 10 years after high school. And it ignores the women characters. This is one of those bizarre omissions that tells you what really goes on in male filmmakers' heads and what women, who are now, for the first time in movie history, half of the movie-going audience, bitterly or unconsciously swallow. So yeah, it's just like a slap in the face.
It is. I mean, well, so this brings up to me, do you remember when we watched the movie Picnic?
Yes.
Right? So this movie Picnic is like a really weird, stupid movie from the early 50s, based on a play. Basically, like, we read somebody that summarized it as thus. It was like a movie that basically is like, hey, when will the girl give, like, the bad boy a chance? It's like, hey, there's like a bad boy who's sexy. Why does they always go with the nerdy guy? It's literally like a movie that proposes like this thing that seems so baked into our culture. And this movie, American Graffiti, is like the real beginning to me. I smell the beginning of the modern dominance of nerddom as a perspective. I mean, these male characters, the sensitivity of Dreyfuss and Ron Howard and stuff. And
Ron Howard's not sensitive in this movie. That character is...
No, he's not. You're right. He's not.
Sensitive.
You're absolutely right.
But Dreyfuss's character...
Dreyfuss is definitely this thing, but it's got that... I mean, I actually found his sensitivity interesting at first, but then once you bring in the lady in the T-Bird, this woman that he fixates on...
Originally, at some point in that movie... the woman and the T-Bird are supposed to become slightly transparent, and you're supposed to realize that she's a figment of his imagination.
Okay, but that would be good. That would be good.
That's kind of what I was getting out of it, too. It wasn't like about, I don't know, even though it is attached to latching onto a girl he hasn't met, it felt different. It's like a metaphor for his life and everything. And I thought, just end the movie on, he still sees the car because he's just like still thinking about it. It's not about the fact that that's actually her in the car. It's about him and his life. And then when the slides came up, I was like, dude, you had your ending image. What are you talking? Yeah. Anyway.
No, totally. But then she calls him.
Yeah.
And she's like, I do love you. Or we should hang out. She's like, we should hang out tomorrow. And he's like,
but she's giving him a real option.
I know. I'm just saying, it feels very male fantasy.
Yeah, it had that big time. I felt as it got closer to the ending, it felt a little better than male fantasy, which is what I thought it was.
You might be right.
Time.
It might
and
be
I've
deconstructing
seen movies that do male fantasy, and they do it so much worse. Like, it's so much more transparent. And this one, honestly, as it was ending, I was like, oh, it's less male fantasy. Maybe it's even about the fact that this is male fantasy.
Yes.
He was also saying
it's possible.
That woman in the car is not a real thing. You don't call her and get on the radio and chase someone who doesn't know you. It's your fantasy in your life. And I would say more so than a lot of other movies, especially the older they get.
Yeah.
I never even feel that it's kind of aware of that. Sometimes you're just like, ugh, this movie does not know what it's doing, or this is really outdated or something.
I think the Kurt storyline does pretty much make sense. If you look at the stuff that happens, like, I don't really know if I understand, like, I like, what's his name? The guy and the little girl in the car.
John Milner and Carol.
I like them together, but I don't know if that all fits together with his, I want to be the best thing.
I don't know. He's already the best.
No, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if she fits into, like, his journey as being
they're putting two different characters' storylines together.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But Steve and Laurie, that's also like a thing where you're seeing what's happening with them. Maybe but Kurt, like, his little period of time with the Pharaohs, right?
Yeah.
Where he's like having the fantasy, what if I do just stay?
Yeah.
And be this fucking guy? And he is killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He pulls an amazing prank.
Yeah.
One of the best parts of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Although, Pauline Kael calls it like a little regurgitated, like the
is it from
classic.
Something else?
Yeah, I apparently like the whole like pulling the prank on destroying a policeman's car has been done before.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
But it was fun.
It is interesting because early on there was in the development of this movie, Francis Ford Coppola, who produced THX 1138, Lucas's first film. His more classical sci-fi, social issues commenting film, very stark, a lot of cars still, a lot of roaring of the engines.
Funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And some serious proto Star Wars. Like, there's some people with some like batons that are very lightsaber-esque. So Coppola is like watching Lucas make this movie, which later on went on to become a flop, and was like, why don't you try and write something a little bit more commercial? And so Lucas was like, well, I'll write a film called One Night in Modesto. That was his original title for it.
Oh,
It was like An Evening in Modesto or something. And so they put him together with this other producer who wanted a lot more like kids playing chicken and just like a lot of heightened movie shit.
Yeah.
And Lucas wanted it to be more real. Wanted it to be more like what actually stuff would happen.
That's
Like,
cool.
I like that.
I do too.
that's what I like about Dazed and Confused.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
I like all that aspect.
Yes.
It just wasn't interesting enough. And maybe you're right. Maybe the big problem is that there weren't enough characters to pull off that kind of like capturing what night
Or
in
too
an
many.
entertaining way.
There were either too many like we could have cut a couple storylines or added more, I think.
Yeah. So you guys liked Terry, the nerd guy?
I think I like their relationship. Like,
I mean, obviously she was so annoyingly like not a real character.
not a real character.
Yeah.
She was so over the top, like, oh, I'm kind of the slutty one. I'm the bad boy loving slutty one who likes that you have a car.
No, but it's like she doesn't really care if he's a bad boy. That's what I like about it in the end, how it's like they had all of this, like the evening is sort of like not working the way that either of them want it, but she's like, this is fucking great. Like she's like, I had a great night.
She thought it was great
Right.
because of all the bad boy stuff that happened. She thought it was great that she witnessed a shootout, that she witnessed a fight, that the car was
Got
stolen.
lost, car got stolen.
Yeah.
Got some of the hard stuff.
She liked the bad boy aspect of it.
Mhm.
No, but he's not actually a bad boy. So it's
Yeah.
like, do you know what I'm saying? Like she is projecting onto him. Like it's kind of
Yes.
cute. You know
But
what I mean?
the-
Like it's like
Yeah. But still, the things that she liked about him were things that aren't actually qualities of his personality. It's things that happened to happen that evening to him.
Yeah, but I think there's something endearing about the fact that it wasn't him trying to be something. It was everything they ended up doing.
Yeah.
He's like, I failed
Right.
at having the car. I failed at getting us out there and like keeping the car. I failed at the fight. I failed at all this stuff. And she was like, you were you all night and I had a great time.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
was something nice about that.
Right.
I still don't think, though, that what she liked about it was him during it. I think she just liked the actions that happened. Like,
I don't
think
know,
she
though,
liked
like,
those
yeah.
actions.
You don't think that nerds can get laid?
No, come on. I
I'm serious.
fucking hate the ending of movies where they're like, oh, and then the girl that the nerd was chasing after actually likes him in the end. It's just like so
Totally.
fucking unrealistic.
So nerds are interesting. Again, this is before Revenge of the... Like, we haven't created, like, the I'm a nerd, like, right? Like, this is, like, he's got glasses, and he's little.
He's unattractive.
He's unattractive.
I'm sorry, but she is
Yes.
hot and she's not
Yeah.
going to go for
Yes,
it.
No,
that
right.
was- enough of that was forced where it's fantasy-like and not actually working and wouldn't actually happen. And-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, but like
I
the
didn't read as
attraction has to
unrealistic
be
for me.
there.
Yeah, you have a big problem with this. You can't deal with a girl being with an ugly dude.
He said I gotta have a good personality if that's gonna be.
No, it's true. It's a terrible personality, but nobody
Yeah.
has a good personality in this world. Like,
Yeah.
who's she gonna be with?
Yeah.
One of the pharaohs?
I think when I say I even like that storyline, it's not even in terms of like what each storyline really talked about and how good it was, but literally entertainment value in a movie that was on the edge of being boring.
I would
Yes.
agree with
It
you.
was like at least he was like when he's trying to buy the liquor or he's trying to get someone outside the store. I started laughing
Yeah.
at the opening image of that scene because in 2008 I was that kid. That was just really funny to see because I've definitely done that lots of times in high school. There was something about that where he was actually capturing that nostalgia.
Yes.
And I was laughing with it and being entertained. The bum steals his money and then the joke of the guy robbing it. That was much more entertaining.
Yes.
With a lot more going on in the film, even if he goes back to like, the slutty prom queen in the car and she's just loving all that and that's unrealistic. At least they're not driving in cars and talking about shit I don't care about.
I wanted to say about like that nostalgia thing, seeing yourself in the characters. Pauline Kael, she's kind of like calling you out specifically for
Oh,
this.
funny.
She's like, when she's talking about audiences enjoying this movie, she says, I think they can laugh so easily because the shared recognitions are all external. It's the giggle you get from looking at a false image of yourself. Though done with style, this is fake folk art, and the kids are stock characters.
There was something young boy fantasy-esque in its nostalgia.
Yeah.
That I think she is hammering at a lot. That will work on young white boys who tried to get liquor and impress girls in high school.
Right.
That does work to a certain extent with us. And one of my complaints, which ties into the rest of my complaints about nostalgia, and especially nostalgia in this movie, was if it's going to go into and try to evoke the emotion out of the nostalgia, if it was going to try and get me to love people who don't inherently love the 50s and 60s, I don't think it did a great job of making me love that. So I agree with her in that sense. It's not branching out and getting other audiences. It's sort of stock, and whoever's going to like it is going to like it, and it's not really grabbing other people. I think that's
Hard to imagine
Accurate to
non-white
say.
people liking this movie.
yeah.
Yeah, That's all like Kael talks about that.
Yeah.
That it's like, it's just giving you everything. Like, this movie is trying to get you to say, oh yeah, life really was just like that.
Right,
But she
right,
says, but for whom though? Because
Right,
it's
yeah.
not for women, it's not for Black people or Asian people or Puerto Ricans or gay people or the poor. It's just for white middle class boys whose memories have turned into pop.
Yeah.
Right. Who are about to go off to college.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Damn.
We're about to go off to college back east. Okay, so let's talk about just nostalgia, right? So this movie is coming out after the 60s, right? Making a commentary on, like, some social mores have changed, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff having to do with weird situations sexually.
Yeah.
There's, you know what I mean? Like, what is it saying,
Like-
about the good old day, or the
Yeah.
old day, you know?
I wanted to tie, like, this whole discussion, I want to tie it to, like, New Hollywood in general.
Yes.
So, like, this is the first episode we're recording about a New Hollywood movie that is that kind of second half of the New Hollywood. This is, like, the beginning of blockbuster nostalgia type
Right.
stuff. Like, it's not like any of the other New Hollywood movies that we've done so far that are more counterculture or, like, kind of darker. The car crash in the end, I was expecting somebody to die.
Right.
And I thought that would have been real cool to have a really, like, happy, pleasant movie the whole time, and then it takes a really dark turn. I would have loved that shit.
Would I have liked that more? That's interesting.
But it didn't do
Does this
that.
movie need a death? Maybe.
I think, like, not a melodramatic one, but
No,
like
no,
an
just
ugly,
like,
uncomfortable,
yeah, a death.
oh my god, this is so uncomfortable, somebody died, like that. I would have loved that. And so, like, I'm trying to wonder, like, to what degree is this movie, like, darker than other, like, pop nostalgia movies? Like, there is some weird sex stuff, like the implication that Laurie, like, maybe enjoys watching her brother, like, masturbate.
Funniest line.
Kind of like
is that?
Luke and Leia.
Is Lucas just really into incest?
He clearly is into brothers and
And
sisters.
that one wasn't as much his fault because he didn't plan on them being brother and sister. And he was just in the last movie. He's
And you can say this for sure, and you know this absolutely.
I'm pretty sure.
All right.
He didn't plan on Darth Vader being the father. He didn't.
I know,
He just
I know.
kept changing the story to be a better story, and then obviously they didn't hold him back. He wasn't like, well, I can't make them brother and sister. I've already done this, so that's enough. That's enough, to at least not give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, clearly he wasn't that bothered by the thought of brothers and sisters
Not
having
enough to
hooked
not
up.
put it in.
Yeah.
Did he have a
franchise
sister?
the whole time.
Did he have a sister?
Did he have some weird experience with his sister?
Did he? Early life.
But, like, the darkness.
Yeah, especially because it was based on the experience that he had getting in a car crash.
Yes.
And
I'm reading
like
this right
that,
now.
And then him stopping driving cars like he was after he crashed, I felt like then it could have come from a completely real emotional place
Yeah.
to end like, I love this time. I have so much love for it. And this happened to me in that time. And so that car crash should have gone that way. You should have felt like, fuck, like he did when he was in that accident. And I don't think I did.
No.
However, now that I'm thinking about it, I do love the post car crash discussion with Terry and John Milliner.
What was it?
Oh, I like that too.
I think that's good, where
Milner was like,
he's just
I was
fixated
about
on
to
how he's about to
lose.
lose.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
He's like, God, it didn't, like, they're just like, don't even care about the car that just crashed. He's like, I was about to get lost. He's like, nah, you still got it. Don't worry. He's like, yeah, you're right.
That's so funny.
Like, I think that's kind of funny. Okay, so I don't know if he has a sister. I looked it up. I tried to see if Lucas has a sister. Maybe he just wishes he did.
I love that they put that little bit of weird sex.
No, as I
One
said,
of
that
those
might be my
interesting
favorite line that George Lucas has ever written.
It was-
Is, oh, you told me about that time with your brother when you watched your brother.
I know, what the fuck? That opened up a whole lot.
It was out of
This movie
nowhere.
hadn't opened up yet.
So this 50s nostalgia thing. We got Shauna not playing at Woodstock. We got Happy Days, which I said was unrelated to this. It was a pilot episode of Love American Style. Didn't get picked up. The success of this movie is what caused them to take a second look at it. And so this movie is very much a part of creating that 50s nostalgia thing. And a lot of it does have something to do with, like, we were fucking in the 50s. Like, a lot of it is about, like, we would do some shit. I know you have your sexual revolution in your 60s and 70s, but back then we were pretty nasty too.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
all
a
that
lot of
stuff
it is
in
about
Greece.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like in Greece, especially the stage show, it's all about sex and wanting
And
to
that one
teenage
character
sex.
is like, oh, I would never be a tease.
Yeah, exactly. Right, and abortion and stuff. It's all and condoms. It's very
Interesting.
demystifying.
And there's a car crash. Does somebody die in that car
Interesting.
crash?
And no,
I wish.
nobody dies in Greece.
But New Hollywood is very much a thing where there's not that many happy endings. And I'm not saying that this is a happy ending, but it's not an unhappy, except for the where are they now?
Yeah. Oh, Scott, such a gut punch. But sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just, it felt such a, like, the ending was just gonna happen. The movie can open and you can be like, is this gonna end with a car chase and someone leaving on a plane? Like,
Right.
It just was not.
Yes.
Like, and the car chase just doesn't even have, like, any real consequences. It just felt stock ending, very stock ending to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, we're talking about decades and decades ago, so when I say stock endings, it's hard to remember what was stock at the time.
What was fashionable,
what
what
has
was
happened, so...
No, one of my least favorite parts of the movie is like at the ending, one of the characters, I don't remember which one, literally says, "Geez, what a night." That's the most lame summary of the movie. Because if you told me that a character would say that at the end, that tells me everything I need to know about this movie.
Dramatically kind of inert. You could say attempting to have a more, I don't know, Truffaut-esque vibe, like attempting to go for a less Hollywood structure. Let's just have some more realness. Of course, I think also then sometimes to us it I think George Lucas might be better suited for a extremely bullet point storyline outline like Joseph Campbell style.
But I appreciate
thing.
the attempt.
Yes, I do too. I mean, do I like this movie more than any other George Lucas movie?
Yeah, okay, so Levi loves Star Wars.
I do.
Sam and I do not.
I like the first one. I like the one he directed. I'm not a huge Empire.
Yeah,
person.
and a lot of Star Wars fans aren't really big fans of George Lucas himself.
Mm-hmm.
I know so much behind the scenes about what George did to make it better than it is, especially after it somehow got more commercialized and recycled after George left. Like you just gain respect for him, but still, he directed 1, 2, and 3, and he did not direct 5 and 6, which are much more respected.
Right, exactly.
And so there's also, as much as I could talk about my love for him, I could talk about my complaints as well about like his direct influence on the poor dialogue and directing that happened. You can't really, when you talk about George Lucas's career directing films, you talk about 90% Star Wars and then 10% American Graffiti, and he didn't really do anything outside those. And
I mean, and a marketing genius.
And
a lot of like going back and fiddling with movies in the past. And stuff.
Honestly, his producing, I could go and talk about so much about what he did that's so great.
Well, is this your favorite? Like, is this my favorite? Like, because I'm not a big
Star Wars
Lucas person, but I was going into this being like, of course I like this more than Star Wars, but I don't know. I think I would rather watch Star Wars than
I like Star Wars more.
I think I'd rather watch Star Wars than American Graffiti.
Oh hell yeah!
Graffiti was American, my God! Did you see those graffitis? Graffito? That graffito? At the beginning and the end? Ever?
But why the fuck was it called that?
It was called that because Lucas said it should be called American Graffiti. And everyone was like, why the fuck would you want to call it American Graffiti? That has nothing to do with anything. And he said, no, I think it should be called American Graffiti.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, all right.
I felt like the title kind of made some sense.
You liked it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Give it.
I wouldn't say, I like that title, it's good. But you guys are reacting so strongly that you hated it.
What's the word graffiti mean to you?
I hardly know. I just thought the montage of the nostalgia started to make sense to me with it just being like, it's vagueness in the term American Graffiti. There wasn't any direct plot to latch onto or theme. Like, what is the theme
So you're
here?
talking about like a scrawled thing.
Essentially.
Sort of like you're saying like just like a fucking thing somebody slapped onto a palimpsest.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Palimpsest means like a thing that you put on top of other things, like an overlaid on top.
Why is there a word for that?
Because we have things like graffiti and the Bible. Your face, you're like, oh Jesus Christ! Get away from this
Imagery you
palimpsest thing.
see of someone trying to evoke something and what kind of thing? American? I don't know.
Graffiti's like young kids doing shit that they shouldn't be doing, and the kids are going on cruising causing trouble. So I guess it does kind of make sense. And I personally, like, my whole thing with titles is I hate when the title is taken directly from words in the movie. And so this is
your
the
thing,
perfect example of the title having nothing to
It ain't that. Yeah.
do with that, and it's like giving extra meaning if you think about it. So I do like, I think I like the title too.
Okay, well now
Now
let me
you're
explain
the-
why I like the title. Okay, so graffiti is vandalism. Graffiti is a defacement. Right? So is this like defacing something with this, like with their cars or with their being.
They're taking up the whole strip.
Right. Is that what's
imagine
going on?
trying to get somewhere
right.
night, and all these kids are fucking cruising around, taking up the whole road. Like, that'd be fucking annoying.
I bet all the adults would just be like, "Oh, that's sweet. You know, we all in town have all of our hopes and dreams pinned on this boy Kurt. We really want him to go back to school back east."
Or they'd be like looking at all the little girls, being like, "Oh, you sexy little."
It's true. It's true.
That
Like the
teacher.
high school teacher.
Yeah. What are we supposed to think about that?
No,
story?
he's so funny because he's like, listen, like, yes, I'm here. I'm a creepy teacher. Yes, I'm banging all of these high school girls. Okay, you don't want to be me. I've made my decisions in life. This is where I am. Okay, it's where I fit.
I think even Richard Dreyfuss's character looked over at him with his hands in his pockets, like, yeah, that's going on. Who do I want to be?
Oh no, right, exactly. You know, he's like, this is one option. Like it's like, yeah, right, and yeah, they have such an interesting. I do love that relationship that you have with that one teacher where you're basically just bros. Have you had that with any teacher?
I mean, obviously not bros.
Or like after the
my
fact.
German teacher,
Like,
she was great, and me and my friends would like hang out with her and talk. Oh, I had this one English teacher who was Mormon, and we went to see Twilight opening night at midnight with her.
Oh, well, that's gonna be a bond forever.
For sure.
Yeah, when you see Twilight with a Mormon opening night. I mean, those are some things you can't unstamp from your soul.
We waited in line for so long to get into the movie theater, and there were like all these, it was all like 40-year-old women. It was an experience, let me tell you.
Really? All 40-year-old women?
And teens, but it was either teens or 40-year-old women.
There was one teacher that we'd go on break to hang out in her classroom, and we'd be having our feet up on the desk and just be hanging out talking with her the whole time. And that was kind of cool. But other than that, no, not really. It's mostly depicted as much stronger bonds in like movies and stuff that I see that I never really quite had with a teacher, especially high school and onward.
I had this one teacher who was like obsessed with looking cool to the cool kids and clowning on the nerds in the class. Like there would be like a nerd who would say something, she'd be like, "Shut up, Jeremy," and then some idiot would like clown around, like disrupt class, and she'd be like, "That's funny, but stop."
We
had
kind of a fun bus driver like that.
Yeah.
She was like very charmed by the bad boy troublemaker who would like, there was this disinfectant spray that was hanging up in the back of the bus, and he would spray the aisles down with it, and then as soon as the bus was about to come to a stop, he would run and then slide in the aisle so that when the bus comes to a stop, it would slam him into the back window. And she'd be like, "Come on, stop it." But always like in a way where she like clearly had a crush on him.
She's spraying a little bit more. Teachers are weird sometimes, especially in 1962. But like, is that a thing? Like when it's like, oh, back in 1962, teachers were going crazy with their students. Like, you know what I mean? Like what is any of this stuff?
What is it saying?
What is it saying? Like any of the stuff with like, he's got the weird bit with Judy's sister, John
Carol?
Milner and Carol.
Carol.
Is that Carol? Right. John Milner and Carol. Right. I mean, their whole dynamic.
The constant rape threats.
Well, right. By the
How
way,
many times was that word used?
it was just like a much more casual word in a way. I think even then it had become by 1973 with more like women's lib and stuff like that happening. Like I honestly think that was sort of what he was commenting on there. But yeah, like the whole thing where like she just wants to stay out all night, so then he's gotta go whole hog and like he's like, well, if you won't tell me where you live, I'm gonna have to. I can't control myself. Like he's gonna attack her, and she's like,
I like that because
Of
it's
course
not
you
at all
did.
believable, and so it's just like as soon as he was doing it, it's like that's sweet of him.
no, but
He's doing
she
this whole
buys
thing.
into it though. I know that it's sweet for
But
me.
it
The
didn't
audience
really
looks at it.
scare her. Like
Yes, he did.
not really.
She seemed genuinely like that was what. Like,
I thought it was more like she was
it's a
like
little unbelievable how scared she was.
she clearly had a crush on him. So I don't think he
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna like do something to you don't want me to do. I think he's like calling her bluff, like, is this what you want for your night? You want to like hook up with a guy? Well, okay, let's hook up. And then like she's like, I don't think she's scared of him like that he's going to rape her. She's scared that like
no, he presents
has
it in
to,
a
like-
very threatening way. Like he presents it in a not in a romantic way. He presents it in like I'm gonna go all deep on goblin mode on you. Basically, like it's like
I don't know.
Was this
He
Milner and
seems
the
sweet.
girl?
Yeah. When he was like, tricking her into giving him the address so that he could take her home. And at the end, she wanted something to remember him by. Like, so she clearly wasn't that scared at the end.
You're right. Fair enough. Everybody wants somebody to remember.
I was like charmed by them, but it wasn't enough to make it like. I didn't love those characters.
I love that guy though. You know what else he is in?
No, he was very compelling to watch.
He's in some Demi movies. He's in Citizen Band and Melvin and Howard. He's like the lead in Melvin and Howard, which he's great
that's
in.
That's fun. I do like him in Melvin and Howard.
He's so good. Why didn't that guy have more of a career?
Yeah, I don't know. He had a good look.
He's cool. He's compelling.
He's cool.
Did
you like Harrison Ford in this? This was his breakout role.
The hatted Harrison Ford. He comes across horribly in the movie, in my opinion. I think I think it's a terrible performance.
Oh, it was. I honestly wrote down favorite Harrison Ford.
Okay. Now this is interesting because again, I'm not a fan of him in general.
Yeah, I usually hate him.
He was not doing
so annoying.
You're crazy.
His standard mode is like here's Harrison Ford, right? So his like standard mode is he's like, I'm kind of grumpy and stuff like that. If he's doing a thing, if he's playing a kind of character, it's the most unbelievable thing ever. Like, he's like, well, hey there, buddy, I'm gonna race you. Like, it's like, he's like, I'm looking for that John Milner. It's just like so, he has to do some silly voice and like, it's like he's like making fun of some idiot who would smile like this in his performance or something. I don't know. I'm not a Harrison Ford fan. You like Harrison Ford.
I do like Harrison Ford, but I thought the character was one-dimensional and not interesting.
I liked when he was singing when Laurie
I like that too. Yeah, he was great.
Like, he didn't know what to do when Laurie was in the car. I liked their interactions, and he sang randomly. Like,
I think when he started singing, I realized how much Harrison Ford doesn't do in all of his movies. Where I was like, I've never heard this motherfucker do anything like that. Just like sing to himself. Or, like,
he had more personality in this than is typical.
Yeah, but I still I value screen presence that works a lot. Someone who can just like inherit the world and just be in it. And I feel like he does that in all of his stuff. And I feel like, I don't know, having that is much harder than it looks. And
That's true.
I can see him fill a lot of roles where he doesn't ruin them. And I like him in that. And I think he's dry and brings that. And I like that about him.
No, I think that's a great distillation of what people love about it. I really do think it's a taste thing. Like it's really not like, I don't think he's doing anything bad. Like you're saying, it is his presence.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like his presence is not my vibe.
I love his voice and he's hot. There's just a lot of
people find him very hot and I see it, but it's a little bit of a Julia Roberts thing where I'm like, yeah, they're hot. But like, it's like, are you my mom trying to explain what hotness is?
Oh my God.
Hot. Like,
it's funny.
No, I know people have this visceral Harrison Ford reaction too.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Yeah.
Do you find him hot?
Like, obviously, he's classically hot,
right?
But his personality is so annoying. It would be such a turn off to me to interact with him in person.
Okay, did you explain the hat story?
Oh, no, you didn't explain that.
The hat story. So, Harrison Ford, famous grump, refuses... so this movie is full of a bunch of actors in the early 70s, young, cool actors in the midst of the breaking of the wave of the 60s counterculture. All with long hair, sideburns, mutton chops, weird looks and stuff. And they all have to get these like dorky-ass haircuts, right?
For this movie.
This set in 1962.
What's this one?
The duck fin. The duck fin kind of thing. Well, that's kind of cool.
Duck fin? Is that what that is?
Pompadour.
You're rocking it. Right
yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like the pompadour. I can deal with some of that stuff.
Sam's hair is looking very duck finny pompadour.
It often can support that. But anyways, so Harrison Ford, for this small role, I mean... It's a major motion picture. Like, I don't know. I think most people...
Like, he said it was too small of a role.
He said it was too small of a role to cut his hair. So he wears this ridiculous cowboy hat.
I liked it.
With his hair, like, stuffed into it. Like, so you can see... And it's just... It's funny.
If the cowboy hat wasn't there, then the character wouldn't be as memorable.
That is a great point. But it makes him sillier in exactly the way that I'm saying his whole affect is.
That all adds to the silliness to me. The fact that there's a hat to cover the haircut, and the fact that it's the memorable thing about him.
Yes, right.
I got nothing memorable, so I'll put on a hat. Now they'll remember me. That's so fucking silly.
So full of himself that he wouldn't cut his hair for this role.
I know.
Did you explain it? Okay, yeah, that he didn't
refused to cut his hair
and put the hat on. I could not find anything on it, but I kept on typing it in because I wanted to see more about it. There was just I wanted to see how it was related or why it was there, but there's just no way that the imagery of him getting out of the car and grabbing his cowboy hat and like kneading it behind him, there's no way it's not related to the entire iconic imagery that becomes in cinema. Like, it's literally, that was like the Indiana Jones shot of him getting the hat before he goes out. And I was like, There's no fucking way this is not related to all of it.
Yes.
Was it like a silly tribute to start that became iconic, or were they like, oh my god, that's good. Let's
Are you
keep
positing that he was playing the long game and pretended to not want to cut his hair just because he knew that he would rock a hat so
Not
much?
all the way back. I'm saying it was a happy accident there, and I don't know if they saw that and were like, that's genius, or if
This hat is a whole franchise.
Exactly. 6 years later, they're making the franchise, and they like, oh, let's add it in as a funny thing, and then it took off, and they're like, I guess this is his signature thing.
You've heard it first here, folks.
Honestly, yes. This is a exclusive we got here.
Yeah.
This is like deep cinematic theory that Levi's bringing.
I
heard it in my head. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Like, right as he grabbed it, I was like, that's funny.
Pavlovian.
Can we talk about Wolfman Jack?
Yeah.
The Wolfman Jack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best part of the movie.
I love that part. Yeah.
That part is perfect. Like I it's so good.
Yeah.
Like that is exactly the tone that he's going for.
Yeah.
In the rest of the movie, and it's so hard to describe what works so much about it.
I think what works is that Wolfman Jack was a real disc jockey.
Right.
And I'm sure that they used real clips
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this show.
Oh,
So it wasn't trying to capture a thing. Like, it wasn't trying to fictionalize a vibe or nostalgia. It just straight up showed the thing that he loved.
It really captures, obviously, like his obsession with Wolfman Jack.
Which when he was
yeah.
in film school, apparently he...
George Lucas's obsession?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
When George Lucas was in film school, he apparently was planning on making a Wolfman Jack documentary.
Right.
Okay.
But then he decided not to do that, and so he just included Wolfman Jack in this movie.
Perhaps a better cinematic tribute
Yeah.
than even a documentary.
I didn't know Wolfman Jack was like a real thing and all that.
Yeah, I didn't know either until this movie. But yeah, he was a famous
So
disc jockey. And apparently...
here you
go
go.
ahead. Well, apparently George Lucas gave him... what's half of a point? Is that what it's called?
Oh, really? Half a point on the back end?
Yeah. And like...
That's great. Like, he gave him a stake in the profits of the film.
yeah, he gave him a fraction of a point.
Yeah.
So
But
a division of the profits
hugely
from the
successful
film.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so because of the extreme financial success, basically the money like provided him regular income for his whole life.
That's so great.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy. So he used the actual recordings of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he created the storyline where the character might meet Wolfman Jack at the end.
And does.
He didn't.
That's the real Wolfman Jack.
Okay, but right, so I
Right, yes.
at the end, yeah, they're like, oh, that's not really him. But then he walks out, he looks back, and he sees that guy mouthing the words,
Right.
and you're like, oh, maybe he just like knows the words or whatever.
And the woman in the T-Bird gets his message.
Yeah, and like he ends up like getting the message across in Wolfman Jack's voice, even though supposedly Wolfman Jack's not there. That was Wolfman Jack. And I think you're supposed to maybe like question that or like realize that when watching the movie.
Gotcha.
And then also like that is actually just Wolfman Jack.
Oh,
the actor.
I thought
or
it was
the
a
person.
total Wizard of Oz behind the curtain ending.
Well, but it is in such a great way. Like, I love the popsicles so much. It's just like, take a fucking popsicle, man. Like, he's got these popsicles that are like melting in a fridge. Just this weirdly real moment.
Yeah.
So specific.
You just
I do
see
like
this. It's this guy stuck in this room all day, and he's like happy to see this random person walk in, but at the same time, he's like, what the hell's going on right here? I'm just kind of I'm doing my thing. What are you here? And then he just kind of like, I do love his explanation of it. It has to do with Dreyfus, aka Kurt's whole. He lives in this fantasy world, but at the same time, he's also scared of the world, right? He's thinking the whole time like he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to. He wants to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay in his life and maybe But he obviously wants adventure. He loves hanging out with the pharaohs and doing that thing, or he enjoys it, And so the Wolfman just sort of like puts it to him in this way of like, I guess he just tells him to like, what does he even tell him? I don't know. It's done so poetically.
I don't remember what he told him, but it was good.
He says something about it's like it's a big beautiful world out there. Like you can't.
He says like he
says like the
Jack
Wolfman,
goes on adventures
right? Yes,
and that kind of thing.
Yeah, he describes the dichotomy between himself and the Wolfman.
Yeah,
he's like, sometimes he comes in and he tells me like amazing things. So so he's this guy who's like both stuck in a room in the middle of nowhere, but he also has this dream world of the Wolfman where he's like,
his
bringing,
persona.
right? Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. I did like that moment too, and I think part of it is a lot of it was that it was complex, and I couldn't just say why stop. I liked it, but things were being revealed as it was going on, even up to the point where he looks back and sees him using the voice, even up to the point where he actually calls on the radio and stuff. And to me, I was like some sort of godlike entity
Yeah.
the whole time that was getting addressed by the end, and then it gave you a lot to think about. Not even so much I can like articulate what it meant to me and what it should mean for other people, but just was it was fun to see that the character go in, the illusion break, but for him to like learn more from that than if he had gotten everything he wanted, which was the guy to be like, I'm Wolfman Jack and you're gonna be the next whatever.
Right.
No, you're right. It is that world Wizard of Oz thing. It's like I pull back the curtain and I see what's really going on, and it's like, oh, that's interesting. But then I pull the curtain back up and I get to go back to having the wizard show me the fantasy. And I get to still preserve the magic at the end. You see the strings, but you know. Yeah,
that was a good way of saying it. And I think that's why
it's just so touching the whole time through.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely.
And compelling, thinking about like Wolfman Jack, like Wolfman Jack knows that it's better to say that he's not Wolfman Jack.
Yeah.
Like, in the real Wolfman Jack, like his race was ambiguous. Like people did not know like who he was at first. Like it took a little while until he started making public appearances, but he would wear different hairstyles, dress himself differently so that he was like just a really ambiguous figure. And he kind of knew that some of the magic was in like embodying this persona who has this mystique about him.
Yeah, I can't put my finger on what else it relates to, but there's other movies I've seen where something is built up through the course of the movie and then it enters and the sound kind of falls and you're ready to listen and you do learn some things, and they did that well. I can't think of other examples.
Well, it's like some moment where you would have like, I mean, in some cheesy version of thing, it's like you meet some small child who's secretly God. And, like, you just have a little walk with them, and they, like, tell you a little something about a flower.
What are you talking about? A child who's
He knows what I'm fucking saying.
I do.
He knows what I'm saying. I'm saying a cheesy version of it would be something where, like, you meet a homeless man, and he, like, tells you, he's like, you know, every once in a while, you meet somebody.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like,
you look back and he's gone.
Right, exactly. Right. It's like that, but good.
Like, the guy on top of the train at Polar Express.
Yes, but that was
Of
good, and it was
course.
early in the movie.
Right.
I've got some things I like. I think I think we should do more of like the new Hollywood, or I don't know. I know we did say a lot about it, but you guys know a lot more about new Hollywood than I was. If I were listening to this podcast, you know, I think I'd be really in. You did a really good intro. I feel like we kind of got away as we kept talking under like our tangents, but like how this can tell me more about what new Hollywood is.
To me, it was like it didn't fit into the rest of the new Hollywood movies we've been watching, and that's because we've been watching the earlier ones, and now we're getting to the later stage of new Hollywood, and this feels like a proto-blockbuster type thing. I guess it was a blockbuster because it was such a financial hit, but like this is that beginning of that different kind of new Hollywood film where it's just very audience pleasy.
I want to push back against this a little bit. So, like, I think you're right, and obviously Lucas certainly represents that break of the blockbuster movie brats coming in and stuff like that. But I think this movie, what I do like about it, you were alluding that you would assume that I would like some of the
hangout culture types.
Well, the hangout culture
specifically
stuff,
50s,
the period piece,
yes.
Right? And I have to say, I do love the art direction. I actually do think that it's the movie looks quite good. All of the styling and all of the cars and just the settings. It's such a good combination of pretty and bright and new and grungy and gross and disgusting. Like
not that gross or disgusting.
No, but it's like not but like that sock hop is like a dark room.
It looks
the kids
cool.
are sweating. No, it does look cool. No, that line dancing where the kids are just like, dude, that looks sexy as hell. It's just like some kids like swinging their legs.
I think you're using gross where we would use like grittiness more.
Gritty, perhaps. Gross is perhaps too much. You're right. But so this movie, there's just like a number of really beautiful moments of cinema. Like the part where they're spraying the shaving cream on the car with the lights flashing around. That's like so gorgeous.
I love the,
like
the visuals.
There's a lot of really amazing moments. But again, I think what this fits in New Hollywood is this has this sort of like, what is a narrative? Thing going on. I think it has a certain amount of what do you need some movie to fit all together? Come on, like we're just talking about real life, man. Like that's kind of how I think of Lucas trying to do that.
Sure.
But you're absolutely right that Coppola wanted him to write a mainstream work. Yeah. That was the point of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like that Truffaut. How many blows is it? I fucking hate that movie.
The 400 blows.
400 blows.
How many blows is it? I love that description.
How many blows? All I know is it does.
but like slice of life male experience growing up.
Not
type.
what Four was about. But sorry, go on.
No, it's like this little boy and his life, and it's just
400 Blows is about like a little boy who has a horrible life that's...
yes,
Like,
some
it's
people's lives are horrible, and it's a slice of life of his
No, but it's an
horrible
especially
life.
bad life in 400 Blows anyways. I think like this is supposed to be a very relatable, like, to
Everybody.
okay, so well, I also
Every guy.
this
Every
brings
white guy.
this brings up another movie one period earlier in the new Easy Rider is a movie that this is really talking to.
Yeah, you know, like it was pretty new thing to have a soundtrack
Yes.
comprised entirely of songs that were already famous songs.
Right.
And Easy Rider was the first one to do this, and this was one of the few other ones to do it, and it did really well financially, the soundtrack. But yeah, Easy Rider is so much cooler than this movie.
Easy Rider is so much cooler, but the same thing is happening in Easy Rider. It's not that subtle in this movie, but the whole going back east, the reverse manifest destiny idea of you've got a journey from the west back east. It is this supposedly this deconstruction. It's the same explicit thing that they're doing in Easy Rider, which is like we are reversing American history, right? So it is quite deliberately doing that, I would say. A little ham-fistedly in some ways, and also a little like, well, what is the point of that too? Like I don't like these characters are not countercultural the way that Easy Rider is.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But they are deliberately on this journey. They constantly reference going back east.
Yeah. That's true. I've never thought about that. Yeah.
Interesting. Nothing I read about it ever mentioned American Graffiti without it starting with, so Lucas tanked a film and was tasked with making a more commercial film.
Yes.
Like literally, he tried to make 2001 and it sucked, and then he was tasked with making something more commercial, and then he almost, I feel like he gained a lot from it, or he took a lot of what he experienced with these last two films and then made one of the biggest films of all time after. But Star Wars didn't just happen.
I mean, this being one of the most profitable movies of all time is really important.
This is why we have Lucasfilm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's cool. Oh.
Cool,
So it's like,
but good? I don't know.
Oh, it's I mean, it's cool learning
No,
all of it. I bet there's plenty of historians that could tell you about this is when art died. You know?
Yeah.
They could elaborate on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I really do think the movie is quite good to look at. I really think there's a lot of very interesting visuals a lot of the way through. He shoots lights and explosions very interestingly. You know?
And I said like earlier at the start of the podcast that it wasn't good, but I was genuinely impressed by a lot of its filmmaking, and then going and learning about more of it, I'm rooting for him as a filmmaker. Like he did a lot of stuff that even with the resources he had were just genuinely very impressive and cool that he did. A lot of that learning about the production was really cool, and especially after, I don't mean to like relate it to my own movie, but what it's like making a movie. It might sound trivial, but shooting day to night stuff for what it's like to have sunrises and sun sets during shooting is fucking crazy. And he had literally within there like over the course of minutes and minutes, the sun is slowly rising, and that is so hard to do, especially on an indie film.
No, you're right.
And so I did The Goat Man, and it all takes place over the course of one night. I wanted the scene where like the sun sets during the scene. And no joke, every scene that we shoot all the coverage and we get it done in like the quarter of the day or the half the day that it took, and then we move on to the next thing. And the sunset scene, we shot everyone's separate coverage over the course of all the days as we transitioned into our night schedule. I don't really take it for granted that it looked so good. And when learning about how it was made in the production, it was really cool. He brought on 2 documentary cinematographers to help it go a lot quicker. They were really good at like run and gun shooting, and they didn't like the thought of shooting so much of it at night with natural lighting. And so let me grab the cinematographer's name. Wexler. Apparently, from what I read, him and George Lucas became friends on an early set where George like met him, and he's a very well-respected cinematographer, and he helped pull some strings to get George into USC Film School. Anyway, George brings him on as a consultant to help oversee the cinematography during this film. And that guy, I think he won Best Cinematography twice. One for Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
That's a beautiful movie.
Almost 10 years earlier. I think it was like 66.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was just really cool. And I think that really helped excel the cinematography in this, in little directing decisions. Like when making the Go Man and it being so indie, it's just like, where do we put this to make it slightly more interesting? Yeah. Maybe like the headlights of the car are just bouncing off something in the back, that kind of thing. And I think, the two cars have to stop in front of a searchlight spinning for no reason. And then they go and run and gun around it, and the searchlight's, it's coming through the window, it's doing cool shit, like all that stuff just to make it interesting.
It's like, that
was cool. And I really had a lot of respect for all that. And a truly like masterclass in a lot of it that like that we failed at even trying to make our own movie. And I know he had like some decent amount of resources, like $700,000 more than we did, but that's still not a lot of money for this.
And he had avant-garde filmmaking ambitions early on. Like he made like avant-garde films of like cars and lights and weird, like weird images.
Is that what THX?
No, THX is a narrative film, but no, I'm saying like he made like avant-garde like
short films
of like the kind of stuff that David Lynch made, like when he was, like I mean, like I think that it's worth taking a minute to, again, none of us are really crazy about this film, but I do think it's a bit of a shame that he never made movies more like this. In the route of his career, that he got quite sidetracked as a producer and a mogul and a company and stuff, and locked into this particular universe. And I mean, he had a flair for realism. There are some moments of interesting performances. Yeah. There's some observed interactions.
The line about watching your brother have sex, masturbate or whatever, that's so real.
Edge of your seat, realness.
But for real.
Yeah. For real, yeah.
As much as Star Wars is the Joseph Campbell beats, that type of storytelling, I would attribute, people try and recreate it nonstop and don't. Right. And I think that he does bring a lot of that in order to make that story real. One of the most recent times we rewatched Star Wars was at the Symphony, like live with the people, and I just really remember thinking, like, we have however long Star Wars is, like 2 hours. You have 2 hours to get, like, how did he build all of Star Wars in 2 hours? And what is the series of what is the montage of images he really did? And I think he does so much with showing like that there's real people that are on the ground level that are like buying and selling cars and stealing. There's thieves. There's people in bars hanging out. There's like a whole rebellion.
He creates a whole world.
He created that whole world. And I think I can see direct comparisons from American Graffiti and like the realism in that. At least his understanding that there's human beings in the world, and he's not just trying to sell a Joseph Campbell story because it worked in the past. He's good at building this entire universe because he understands what the universe kind of looks like.
Exactly.
Different.
At the same time,
different classes and everything.
A lot of the same stuff as in Star Wars is in that. Like, he does have a very limited worldview in a certain way. Like, I feel like you can really see all of his fetishes in this movie and in Star Wars. Yep. And it's all, it's Luke in the speeder, famously very, like, cruising around Modesto kind of thing. Like, he loves a live band, loves a whiny white boy. Loves a whiny white boy. He just wants to watch him whine and whine and whine on stage. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, and God, whiny white boys like me love it.
No. You're not Hayden Christensen.
No, but we all were at some point in our lives. No, just kidding.
It was Hayden Christensen with Shattered Glass, perhaps.
Did you guys know, like, Lucas felt like this was kind of biographical in a way? Like, Kurt was modeled after his personality when he was at USC, and John Milner was based on his teenage street racing junior college years, and Terry, the nerd, represents his nerd as a freshman in high school and his bad luck with dating. So he, like, put himself in a lot of these characters.
Is that a bad formula? That, like, okay, I'll have this guy who is me at 20. I'll have this other guy who's me at 30. I'll have this other guy who's me at 15.
I feel like I haven't really, like, people put themselves in characters, but putting yourself from different stages in your life in different characters.
And it's funny that the way that he processes his life is he was like, I was a nerd then I was cool, then I became a nerd again, and I was kind of like, he's like, okay, that was my phase where I was like a real cool greaser. And then I became a
Kurt's not that nerdy. What do you guys think about Kurt's character? Like, and Richard Dreyfuss's performance.
Richard Dreyfuss, who, by the way, looks 15 in this. 4 years later, he's going to win Best Actor, being the youngest winner at that time, at age 30, looking 50 then.
Well, I want to know what horrible things happened in his life in between those two movies that made him physically age so much.
He grew a beard.
I was about to say he grew a beard, and he I think they made him look young. But if you really look at him, he
You're
does
right, he's
not
not that
look
young.
that young. And if he had shaved his beard and they put on some young clothes and Jaws, we wouldn't be saying.
They
the
gave him
same
a
thing.
terrible outfit.
Yeah,
Terrible
the
shirts.
turtleneck
Right.
and he also has an old presence. He
Yeah.
you know.
in
sits
American
and-
Graffiti.
Yeah, and everything. I just feel like he has an older presence to him.
Yeah, maybe something about that scene with the teacher where he's just like, we're both actually the same age. Like in real life.
That's funny.
But sorry, so yeah, what were you saying? What do we think about Richard Dreyfuss?
Oh yeah, just like you guys liked him in this.
I think he's good. Hey, I mean, do I
I
love Richard Dreyfuss as an actor? Not really.
I liked him in this. I like when characters or actors look like they just absorb the role and they're not trying to perform something for
You're
me.
right.
And there was a moment of him that I think is left out of too many movies where like characters just have moments and process things and think about things. And the scene of him walking through the hallway with his hands in his pockets, that kind of stuff is just more powerful to me. The more our movies and our culture just get so punchliney and in your face and they just look at the camera and tell you what's going on. Like, I like a character to just be absorbing something and to be walking around. And I feel his presence and all that. And I liked that. It didn't go above and beyond. I wouldn't even call it an A+. Like, it blew me away. But I don't know. I liked his presence.
But, okay, so let's New Hollywood this a little bit. So, this is a period where we're having different kind of leading men, right? Richard Dreyfuss is absolutely an example of this.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he goes...
Elaborate. What kind of...
Well, I mean, he doesn't look like Don Draper.
Well,
Like,
not classically handsome.
right, you got, some guy who's a little short as a leading man or doesn't look... people who don't look classically handsome. Right, like
that's a New Hollywood thing.
Absolutely, like
Gotcha.
that's and something that has really been lost is like
Yeah.
interesting looking actors.
Yes.
Like just people, just some fucking weirdo.
Oh, so New Hollywood brought that along?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
they were into that. So I think Richard Dreyfuss is quite an example of that new leading man.
Yeah, like I thought that he was kind of sexy in it in a very normal way. I liked it.
Go on.
No, that's all I have to say.
Did you
I was kind of into him.
Elena was kind of
Especially
into
when
Richard
he was,
Dreyfuss.
especially when he was getting into the pharaohs. Like, I was like, oh, bad boy Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
Because he seemed very ready to do that.
Right.
He was like, I can do this,
Yeah.
and it was kind of sexy.
Did you see Close Encounters?
Yes.
He played.
I like him in that.
I couldn't remember the last thing that I really saw him in
Right.
a lot, but he played he's a dad in that, right?
Oh.
And I think I liked his presence in that as well. I think I would have seen that promise of him young
Yeah.
in American Graffiti. I liked him.
Yeah.
He's got the sensitivity, right? Like
Yeah,
this is what it's
he
supposed to
does.
be
Yeah.
showing. Is it's like, you ever heard of a man that wants to talk to you about his feelings a little bit? Maybe that's a little crazy. but-
What I like about his character is like it's established very like in the beginning, like, oh, he has just decided that maybe he won't go to college. But even from the beginning,
Right.
like he's gonna go. And he's not really thinking to himself, I'm not gonna go. Especially given the fact that like it seems like a decision he made literally like that night. Like that up until this point, his best friends still think he's gonna go with him tomorrow. And he just informs them just then of, oh, I might not go. Like the whole time. And he knows I am gonna go. It's just like I am feeling the antsiness of it the night before. And I liked capturing that kind of like antsy, like, oh my God, what if I fuck things up? What if I just like implode my life? But like still knowing like I'm not going to, but like what if I did? Like I kind of liked that aspect of his storyline.
No, you're right. I related to that as a person who definitely freaked out about going to college and then dropped out after a semester. I definitely felt like, seriously, like I was like, he is capturing that vibe of like, maybe I'm not going to go to college. Maybe it'll be whatever.
Which in your case, that is
What happened. Would have been nicer if I made a choice like beforehand to not do it rather than failing. But no, yeah, it's that idea of like, well, I mean, like, because this is like 10 years after, like, going to college was like new in the 50s.
Really?
Kind of. Like, I mean, it was like, before then it's like, you're going to get a job or you're going to join the service. I mean, it was like, you going to college? What do you want to be a doctor? Like, I mean, what is he going to study?
Where in the East are they going? Like, are they going to New York City or where?
Yeah,
I
Becky's.
don't think
Come
that
on.
Yeah.
What if he's going to just like he's going to like, I don't know,
Some shitty school.
Virginia Commonwealth University or something like that. Yeah, like, I don't know. Like he's going to some like college that like just started 2 years ago.
I think the lack of the specificity is like just the idea of going east.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you said, in its own genre.
Yeah.
Or if it's ode to that genre.
Reverse manifest destiny.
How about we talk about like Pauline Kael? I read something that she wrote about like the role of a critic. It's an interview that she had with Roger Ebert in 1975.
Ebert and Kael did an interview together?
Yeah.
But
It's
they, like,
called
kind of
Pauline
mortal enemies.
Kael on Art and Trash, Life and Lice. It's a good name. But yeah, she's talking about what the role of a critic is. And she says, like, one of the functions might be to help people understand and more clearly evaluate the ways in which movies work on them sensually. And she just talks about how there's like a lot of different kinds of experiences you can have in the movies. And sometimes people don't really seem to draw a line between the movies that really enlarge their experience and the movies that simply work them over. So then she talks a little bit about like Altman's McCabe and Mrs. Miller. McCabe, sorry. McCabe. I'm a film buff. McCabe and Mrs. Miller comes, and she says that like she felt one of her functions as a critic was to discuss the ways in which the movie was new and the wonderful things that Altman was doing in it. But then there are times when people are moved and deeply moved by trash like The Trial of Billy Jack, which is, we will definitely be talking about Billy Jack movies at some point, and I'm very excited for that. And she says that then perhaps the critic can help by explaining the ways in which trash can manipulate your responses and can work over your emotions in unworthy and dishonest ways.
This is what I'm always talking about, by the way, with Andrew Lloyd Webber.
I know, this is, and like
and
the
musical,
idea of like romantic, like
the
feeling.
idea of something being, right, exactly, the idea of something just like eliciting, like, it's like that thing, but it's not really that thing.
Yeah, and so then she like brings up like American Graffiti, and she says like, you know, that like it was probably such a hit because of like the age group and stuff like that. And I just like, it's just, I think it's an interesting question of like the role of nostalgia, the degree to which it is like just working you over.
Timing is everything with this.
Which, and she thinks it's a good movie in the sense of well styled and stuff, and she considers it like a good movie compared to other things. She wouldn't call it trash, but she thinks that it's pretty empty in terms of the content and everything like that. And then it's like relying on nostalgia in a way that's like very, there's just not that much to it. And when you see yourself in it, you're kind of demeaning your own personal experiences by just trivializing everything into a talk show or like a game show type, like a trivia game show of like, that happened to me when I was younger, you know?
Well, so if we talk about New Hollywood being this sort of like response to the social changes happening in America and the mistrust of institutions that we're getting with Watergate and stuff like that, Lucas said, THX 1138, that is supposed to be that, you know, 70s sci-fi movie where, like, in the... I mean, this isn't what happens in THX, but it's like, in the end, it turns out that there is no hope, and you're gonna... You know what I mean? Like, it is that sort of, let me tell you the truth about society thing.
Is it Big Brother-ish? Is it...
It's like that, right? Exactly. It's like these kinds of things where it's like, it's trying to really give you a social, you know, perspective on the world that you actually live in, and... You know, it's not trying to hold back. And he deliberately, his point with American Graffiti was like, I want to give people a fantasy. Like, I want to take them. People don't want to think about reality right now.
Yeah,
he's wrong in other ways, but sorry.
Yeah, he has a specific quote where he says, THX, it was about real things that were going on and the problems we're faced with. I realized after making THX that those problems are so real that most of us have to face those things every day. So we're in a constant state of frustration. That just makes us more depressed than we were before. So I made a film where essentially we can get rid of some of those frustrations, the feeling that everything seems futile. So
right.
And making this is like an escape, that is exactly what happened before New Hollywood.
And this is the antithesis of what everybody else is doing with New Hollywood. Yeah. Like, they're all saying, oh, people can finally deal with reality now, and we can have just a movie about just a loser who fucking loses.
Yeah, like those big musicals, those were all the escapism.
Exactly.
People didn't want that anymore. They wanted New Hollywood. But Lucas, I mean, this is kind of an anti-New Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
In some way. I mean, we talked before about the ways in which it is New Hollywood, like the, you know...
Nobody in the time is like, I'm in New Hollywood right now.
Yeah.
No, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, just like, it has both of those aspects, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with Star Wars being like a really big escapist cinema thing,
yes.
You're saying that this movie is really the opposite in a lot of ways of escapist cinema.
No. This movie is quite escapist. It's the opposite of other stuff that was going. It's the opposite of the main trend to a lot of the rest of New Hollywood.
What was that main trend?
As it super downer endings, government's evil. Sorry.
Oh yeah, government's evil.
Yeah.
Like war, like
anti-heroes.
war.
Yeah, a lot of violence, death, destruction, sexuality, and stuff.
Characters being like not like morally complex. There's no heroes. There's no like the good person you're rooting for. You're.
So did he bring a really like positive outlook on things? A really like proactive future is great, or world is like positive look at a time where New Hollywood was not doing that? Is that a way to say it? I'm genuinely asking.
I think he's avoiding it
exactly
by setting it in the time period before. By saying, let's not even worry about the shit we're dealing with right now. Let's just go back to the nostalgia, back when we can look happy thoughts about our childhood.
And Star Wars is about fascism, but it's quite apolitical as you're watching it, in a way. You know what I mean? Like, it's a space opera. It's not really a sci-fi in the sense of, let's talk about real human issues. Let's tell this epic fantasy story.
Totally.
And so it's really outside of any kind of making a comment on the world. I feel like he is a person who is quite in his own world, Lucas. Like, he has his own interests.
Yeah.
He is somebody who's like, this is what I want to see in cinema.
That's what I feel about that whole group, like Spielberg.
Yes, same.
Oh, I mean, Coppola is like he's integrated into the,
and he's a little bit older than them. Like he's kind of like the big brother to a lot of them in some ways.
It feels weird that they are part of the same Rat Pack because they feel so different with just how like childish and imaginative Spielberg's and Lucas's stuff felt compared to like how like sort of raw and historian like Coppola felt. I don't know.
Well, Coppola is coming out. I mean, Coppola who produced this film and had a production deal with Lucas for the early 1969 incarnation of his company, American Zoetrope. Coppola came out of he was I think second unit director, and he directed Finian's Rainbow, the big 60s studio musical. Like he had already come out of that system a little bit. Like Coppola had already been through the ringer and was sort of trying to see if he could gain some leverage and shape it in the way that he wanted. And I mean, he personally got enough power early on that he is also just like a figure who made a lot of this happen. Just himself, Coppola. But anyways.
There are a couple quick little things I want to say. I enjoyed that they say bitchin' so much.
I thought about tossing that in the intro.
Yeah, you should have.
Bitchin' babes.
It was great. I didn't realize that his wife, Marcia Lucas, is an editor.
Marcia Lucas, yes, this is the key.
Marsha, is that how you say it?
Yes, this is a key partnership. Go on about this, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was just reading about her and stuff. I was wondering how she became involved in film. Was it just because she was married to him? But no, she became they met as both being assistant editors under Verna Fields, who was one of the few respected female film editors in the industry at the time. So they met as people both working in the industry. And it's so cool that she's an editor in this. She was nominated she won the Academy Award for Best Film Editing in 1977 for Star Wars. And then she was also nominated for an Academy Award for film editing for American Graffiti. She also edited some of Scorsese's films such as Taxi Driver.
That's right.
And that's super cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
No, she's a legendary editor. Left him for their decorator or something. I think something like that. Like,
good for her.
He had a redesign of their foyer or something like that, and I think she left him for that.
Well, way back before that, I don't know when this stopped, but editing was seen as a woman's profession.
It was, yes.
Back in the early days when it was so much more mechanical. It was seen like sewing or anything. Like send that to the editor's room and the women edit the thing. And I don't know when that stopped and when it became more like editors were getting nominated for shit and it became a bigger or we started to branch out, but I wonder how much later men started being involved more.
I know there's a lot of people who, when you start getting into the Lucas fall off question, or like when he started to lose it or whatever, or when he started to get, there's a lot of people who have when Marshall left, that's really when it it's similar with people do that a lot with Polly Platt and Bogdanovich, of course. I mean, but there's a whole podcast.
I don't know Polly Platt.
There's a whole podcast on Polly Platt.
Apparently there were a lot of fun shenanigans on set.
Oh, you can tell. You can tell they're having a blast.
Oh,
It's on
This
screen.
is about the parties and stuff?
Yeah, because it was like an ensemble cast of young actors. One of the actors like drank a lot and was said to have been kicked out of the Holiday Inn for things like urinating in the ice machines and climbing on top of the hotel's rooftop sign. Someone set fire to Lucas's hotel room.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Now, there were also, like, a lot of local, like, gearheads who were paid, like, $25 each to lend their cars to the shoot. So they were, like, hanging out on set all the time and, like, contributing to, like, kind of the party feel of it.
Yeah. Can
drag
I
racing.
piggyback a little bit off of that? Just more in, like, that I respected about the filmmaking aspect of it that was so cool that is tied to a central thing I see so much throughout making my own film. And then the years ago when I was at film school, which is, like, the important, like, focus on, like, asking for help and having such little resources but making it happen, and how that's so conducive to filmmaking. It's just insane. They didn't pay the 300 extras that were there doing all the dancing and everything, and then even to like entertain them, they would hold raffles in between the takes. Right now, Richard Dreyfuss, Ron Howard would get up and like host raffles and just keep them entertained. And to get all the cars there, they didn't have any fucking money to do that, so they would just broadcast on a radio. Can you come? You want to be in you want your car to be in a movie, and we just come by and you can be in the movie. And they would get almost like the equivalent of auditions, but they would take photos of them, and then on the day of shooting, they would send out a call to like 60 of them, and like only 20 would show up, and then they would use those cars and shoot. And I just thought all of that is so cool and so much harder to do, I think, than people realize. And I think anyone interested in films and that want to make things as big as Star Wars, just like, it is so hard to get around to like a lot of those first projects where you have to like ask for so much help. But it is so fucking hard to do that in filmmaking. And I know people that like dropped out of film school or like couldn't hold themselves up because they could not do that. And one of my close friends, I remember hanging out with his girlfriend who just would tell me, now wife, she would tell me like he has such a hard time asking for help. And I saw him like for 4 years him not be able to create things because he just was not in that rhythm. And luckily I have enough of a social thing to be like, oh, I'll help you, you help me, and we just kind of made it happen. But that was cool to see, even on one where they get a budget like this and it's like some young up and coming real filmmakers, they're putting out the call and getting lots of people to work for free. That shaving cream scene, they're dancing on the girl's car who's in the car, and they didn't tell her they were going to get up on the car. And
really?
They're scratching her car, and they're like, hey man, you might want to like lay off that stuff. She hasn't said anything yet, but she's sitting in the car right now. And he was like, oh my god, I've been jumping all over it. They're like, yeah, you might want to dump it down. But that's indie shooting, is like, yo, I got to get my car back to the thing. Did you scratch it? Like, just dealing with all that shit in the middle of shooting is a lot, and I had a ton of respect for that. Anyway.
No, this is Lucas. Now the image we have of him is so this like distant, like got, you know what I'm saying? Like he's got it all planned out, and he's not really going to explain it to you. He's not really going to tell you what to do acting wise. Like, he must have had some more of a human touch at a certain point, like in this early point, because he was that scrappy, low budget filmmaker, even through Star Wars.
Scrappy.
Like, it was that, and it's just, he's so clearly not that now. Mm-hmm. He's just this guy who has an empire at his disposal.
Has more resources than anyone ever will.
Right.
Like when you see him walking around on episode 1, 2, and 3, he's just taking his time. He's spending hundreds of millions, and he's just like doing his thing because he's now past all that.
Pontificating to himself, and everyone's like waiting to hear if he's going to say something. Like,
anyone that wants to break in, though, you just can't do it from your bedroom writing a masterpiece. You gotta be. He should have Shyamalan'd it up. He should have gotten back to the thing and started mortgaging his house to self-fund his things the way Shyamalan does. Oh yeah, that's true.
He needed to get away from that.
Yeah, Shyamalan got almost more indie.
Yeah,
his success in his 20s.
He did. It would have been cool if George had gotten out of his ivory tower, his ranch.
Yeah, he says there's something metaphorical in that, about becoming the Sith in his own story. And he was the indie guy who became the most non-indie guy.
No, it's true.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to steal the conversation,
that's the whole point.
This is great.
That stuff. Yeah.
And honestly, it's really. I think it's a great pick for this episode.
Yeah, thank you so much for
It's been super lovely.
This is awesome, you guys. This is so much fun. I was like, how are we going to fill an hour? I can't believe how much time flies when we're doing this.
Yeah.
Right? It could be 9 p.m. and we'd still be like, I don't know, I think this was it. And we could just keep talking about it.
No, I know. And it's like we do all this research, but then we're just like, we watched a movie, we can just chat about it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We could probably have a podcast on just what she says about it nonstop.
Pauline Kael.
Yeah.
No,
She's the best.
she's the best. We love some Kael.
We love kale. I love to eat kale smoothie.
I thought the name of the podcast for a second was like some, I don't know, like American Graffiti title, like, oh, it's something Kael, like, because we're like dry and don't taste good or something like that. And then we're like, no, Pauline Kael.
It's a weird title. Our podcast title is weird in the same way that American Graffiti is a weird title.
We directly
Except it actually,
Pauline Kael
ours actually
time.
does make sense. So
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
totally.
quite the opposite.
It's nice to be attached to something because we might be on a tangent talking about Harrison Ford and whether or not he's hot for a while.
Yeah.
If we didn't have something getting us back to New Hollywood.
And we need an infinite amount of time to discuss that question.
Yeah. I appreciate you asking us like how this movie falls into New Hollywood because we always forget.
You're
to do
absolutely
that
right.
in
Yes.
this podcast. It was so helpful you like grabbing us.
That's not forced at all. I want to learn more about it. That's kind of what I'm here. If I were even listening to the podcast, which I will, that's what I want to learn more about.
It's a wild, vibrant time. Anyways, I think that was great, guys.
Yeah.
Are we done?
Yeah. We had a great time. Hope you guys did too. Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
All right, that's our show. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Check us out on social media. Thank you to The Illuminator for our artwork. And remember, guys, we're a new podcast, so if you could leave a comment or just a like, that would really help us out. Thank you. Bye.